nucleus, ambiguous, and dorsal nucleus of the vagus nerve. Yeah. So here we will have this also. This is what ambiguous. Just now it will be not superior part, but it will be middle part, the biggest actually, which belongs to the vagus. Then we will have solitary, which is lower part of the solitary nucleus, so it will be here, from here, okay, this one. And then dorsal nucleus of vagus nerve, yeah, dorsal, big one, over here, like this. And spinal we have next to them also. So then this nerve exits from the brain the same way like glossopharyngeal, then the same way leaves the skull, and in the jugular foramen also has two ganglia, superior and inferior ganglia. So here superior and inferior were in the within the jugular foramen. Okay, when first we will describe the topography, okay? It runs through jugular foramen, then it runs in the neck. In the neck it will be what we don't see here. Here should be carotid artery, first internal then common, and next to it will be jugular vein, you can look over there, internal jugular vein, and between them we will have this vagus nerve, right over here and left over here, okay? So together with these vessels, it runs in the carotid sheath, actually surrounded by the carotid sheath in the neck. Then it gets into the thoracic cavity through the superior aperture of the thorax. Right nerve runs in front of the right subclavian artery, and then after that, it is not shown here, it runs below it and to the posterior mediastinum. Left vagus nerve runs the same in the neck, but then it descends in the thoracic cavity up to the anterior surface of the arch of the aorta, and after that it goes posteriorly to the posterior mediastinum. Both nerves run posteriorly in the posterior mediastinum. What do they find there? It will be this, what we have in the posterior mediastinum. Yeah, so they run one above the root of left trunk, the other right. Yeah, so here in front of aorta and then behind. Here in front of the subclavian artery and behind. And then into the posterior mediastinum they give branches. First they give branches to the esophagus, and in the esophagus they exchange their fibers, and they exchange fibers right and left this way that below in the lower part of the esophagus, instead of right and left vagus nerve, we have anterior and posterior vagal trunk. And because this is esophagus, this is diaphragm, it passes through the diaphragm, and here, because stomach turned like this on the right side, we have not right and left trunk, yeah, anterior and posterior. Anterior nerve, vagal trunk will run along the anterior surface of the esophagus, posterior along the posterior. They come to the lesser curvature of the stomach, and then anterior will run over here, posterior will run over here, both along the lesser curvature. So this is abdominal part, okay? So this is topography. Now, if to say what this nerve innervates, we should understand, yeah, in the head. It innervates digestive organs, respiratory organs. If we are talking about digestive, it is starting from the palate, innervates muscles of palate, muscles of pharynx, also sensation of the pharynx. Then it innervates the tongue, root of the tongue next to the epiglottis, area of the epiglottis. Then it innervates the larynx, and running in the neck, it gives or other branches innervates glands which we have over there, parotid gland, thyroid, parathyroid. Then it runs into the neck, innervating organs over there. Trachea and esophagus already start over there. Then we have organs of the thoracic cavity. It innervates whatever in the thoracic cavity. Then in the abdominal cavity also gives branches to all organs of the abdominal cavity. So they will be whatever we have over there. And up to the descending colon. Yeah. So here you can see the vagus, what it innervates, not everything of course, but what we can see, the fibers of the vagus nerve come up to this level. Yeah. So they innervate all the digestive tract and innervation except the descending colon. Yeah. And organs of the pelvis, it also doesn't innervate because we have sacral part of the parasympathetic nervous system for organs over here. You can see organs of the pelvis. So actually it innervates everything. So therefore the name vagus nerve. Okay. So as we said, somatic motor fibers we have up to the upper part of the esophagus. So therefore again for the muscles of the palate, muscles of the pharynx, muscles of the larynx, and upper part of the esophagus. Below we don't have striated muscles, so therefore we will have parasympathetic. What do they innervate? They innervate smooth muscles, they innervate cardiac muscle and glands. Okay, so and sensory we have everywhere. And there are only two branches of the vagus nerve which have only sensory fibers. Now we will describe the vagus nerve just by the regions. The first, the cranial part. Cranial part starts within the tubular foramen, and it will be two branches. They are meningeal branch, which innervates the posterior cranial fossa, meninges, and there will be also auricular branch, which runs through the temporal bone and exits here posterior to the ear to innervate the posterior part of the auricle, posterior part of the external acoustic meatus. So these fibers have just only sensory fibers, these nerves. Then we have cervical part, and the cervical part there will be several nerves. So first we have pharyngeal. So I said actually what it innervates, pharynx, palate, yeah. So then there will be a superior laryngeal nerve. Superior laryngeal nerve runs to the larynx, and it has external and internal branch. External branch innervates just one muscle of the larynx, which are more superficial, cricothyroid running superficially, and the mucosa up to the vocal fold. Okay, so this is superior. And innervates also root of the tongue, what I said, next to the epiglottis at this area. So then there will be two nerves which run to the cardiac plexus, to the heart.
Superior and inferior.
These are cervical, cardiac, superior cervical cardiac nerve and inferior cervical cardiac. They participate in the cardiac plexus. So these are from the neck. Then where these nerves enter the thoracic cavity, or below, at the level of the subclavian, right subclavian artery and arch of aorta, we have nerves which are called a recurrent laryngeal nerve. You can see it with these dots, like interrupted line, and then it runs like this, recurrent laryngeal, and the same we have over here, this nerve. This recurrent laryngeal runs to the larynx. On its way, it gives branches to the trachea, esophagus, like glands on the neck, and also can give cardiac branches, and then reaches this larynx. Yeah, so innervating the muscles, all the muscles of the larynx except one, and mucosa below the vocal ligament. So this is recurrent laryngeal nerve. Okay. So then we have branches for the organs in the thoracic cavity. Whatever organ we have branches. So it will be thoracic cardiac nerves participating in the cardiac plexus. Then it will be bronchial branches which run along the bronchi to supply the bronchi and lungs. And then it will be esophageal, which we already mentioned, which form the esophageal plexus. All these plexuses, what I mentioned, they have also sympathetic fibers. So this will be autonomic, sympathetic and parasympathetic. So then, vagus nerve also, what we should know, innervates aorta, arch of aorta. Here we have the same zones, like reflex zones, the same like in the bifurcation of the common carotid artery, baroreceptors and chemoreceptors to regulate the blood arterial pressure. So then we have this part which is abdominal. So here this is anterior vagal trunk, form the anterior
wall of stomach.
Gastric plexus. Posterior will form the posterior gastric plexus on the posterior surface. Besides, this anterior will give branches to the liver. Hepatic. Posterior will give branches to the kidneys. And what is very important, that posterior vagal trunk give branches to the celiac, I don't know where to draw, like this, celiac plexus. Celiac plexus, what is that? We have celiac trunk, which is the first unpaired branch of the abdominal aorta. Yeah, then superior mesenteric artery next to it. Yeah, so this is diaphragm. And here around this celiac trunk, we have sympathetic ganglia, and here comes the celiac branch of the vagus nerve. So from here, these fibers, parasympathetic, will run along the branches of the celiac trunk, to the liver, to the pancreas, to the spleen, then to the renal arteries to reach the kidneys, then along the superior mesenteric artery to reach all organs which are supplied by the superior mesenteric artery. So this is important to understand, that all these branches from the celiac plexus will run along the vessels, which are branches of the celiac trunk, aorta, and superior mesenteric artery, but not inferior. Inferior will be another story. So therefore, this way, in the perivascular plexuses, these fibers, together with the sympathetic, supply all the organs of the abdominal cavity like this, okay? So this is about vagus nerve, and then very brief, what else should I say? Wait. We have preganglionic, the rest you can read by yourself, by the way. So preganglionic fibers, guys, pay attention to this. We have here,
What they call?
in the preganglionic neurons are located in the dorsal nucleus of the vagus nerve, yeah, so this one. Then all these fibers which we see over here, preganglionic, yeah. Where do we have ganglia? Ganglia we have next to the organ which are innervated by the branches of the vagus. You can see this black, it is already postganglionic neurons or intramural ganglion on neurons, so they are called terminal ganglia, So we have very long preganglionic fibers, and within the hilum of the organ or plexus organic or in the walls of the intestine, we have this terminal ganglia, or like the paraorganic and intramural, yeah, very short. So this innervates the grafts and muscles. Smooth and